The 2-minute message at the non-denominational New Hope Olympia is God's Hall of Fame, Part 2. When Gary Carter was inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame, they talked about his character as a player and his accomplishments as one of the greatest catchers in baseball history. In the midst of all this, Gary thanked God for allowing him to become the player he was. Gary Carter's number 8 was retired by the Montreal Expos in 2003. Carter was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in his 6th year on the ballot on January 7, 2003. He became the first Hall of Famer whose plaque depicts a player with the Montreal Expos logo. He passed away on February 16, 2012. Today, we live in a sports-crazed society. People look up to great athletes and sports legends. After their careers are over, they are recognized for their greatness. In addition to the Baseball Hall of Fame, we have the Professional Football Hall of Fame, the Basketball Hall of Fame, the Boxing Hall of Fame, the Golf Hall of Fame, and on and on. You know God has a Hall of Fame, too. It's found in Hebrews chapter 11. I like to call Hebrews chapter 11, God's Hall of Heroes. In this chapter, God mentions some of the heroes of the faith that have lived through the centuries and were faithful to God. In his weekend message, Pastor Dell introduces us to Joseph. He is a member of that incredible cloud of witnesses surrounding us as we run the race that is marked out for us. Joseph is mentioned in Hebrews chapter 11, verses 21 and 22. Here is the background of Joseph's story. Joseph dreamed that God was calling him to be a great leader. Joseph's brothers hated him, threw him in a pit, and sold him as a slave. As a slave, he was accused of rape and ended up in prison. While he was in prison, Joseph became a dream releaser. Because of Joseph's integrity and faithfulness, the Lord promoted him to the second in command in Egypt. As a famine ravaged the world, Joseph's brothers came to Egypt for food. Joseph pursued peace in his relationship with his brothers. Joseph said to his brothers, "Please come near to me." He could have taken on the victim mentality and written off his brothers. Joseph rather pursued peace. He chose to forgive them, which is a lesson we can learn from Joseph. Don't seek revenge, God is the judge, and it's his job to render judgments. Joseph forgave his brothers. Moreover, he kissed all his brothers and wept over them, and after that, his brothers talked with him. Joseph knew the love of his father, and that made it easier for him to be forgiving. When we know God's love and forgiveness, we can love and forgive others. Joseph gave them grain for free, and then they were given the best land in Egypt for their families. Joseph blessed those who had cursed him and did well to those who hated him, as Jesus told us to do. In his weekend message, Pastor Dell will show us 8 invaluable lessons we can learn from the life of Joseph.